Hello. Today on DIY with Chris. Hello. Today on DIY with Chris, we're going to be covering how to make a rocking train. For tools and other material listings, you can go to DIY with Chris and visit the how-to article for this project. We're going to get started today on a DIY wooden rocking train, and this is going to be modeled after Thomas the Train. What you're going to need for this project is a full board of whatever wood you choose. I'm using MDF, and that's a full sheet, which is 4 feet by 8 feet. You will also need some screws, a couple 15-inch wheels, and some slats that we're going to use for the barrel nose of the train. Everything else should be covered here. We will also add a seat on the back of the train. First off, we're going to start with the template. So you're going to put all your lines on the board here. Hopefully you can see them. So we've already drawn out our template on the entire board. After the template's drawn out, then we get to go ahead and get started cutting. So that's what we're going to do at this time. I'm using my Rockwell VersaCut for this cutting job due to the fact that most of the cuts don't go all the way across the board, but they are straight cuts. This next part we're doing is whenever you get to the cuts for the side on this template, we have some 4 by 4 inch windows that we're going to be putting here. So I've pre-drilled some holes right here in the corners, and I'm going to use my jigsaw. I'm going to put the blade right in there, and then I'm going to cut the windows out that way. So there's plenty of clearance for my blade on the jigsaw, and then I'm just going to cut the windows out. Following that, I'm going to finish the cuts for the sides, and then I have a few more cuts that I'll have to do. As you'll look over here to the side, then you'll see that most of our pieces have already been cut. So we have the base, which is a 15-inch by 40-inch base. So the entire length of the train should be approximately 40 inches. There will be a couple extra inches due to the rockers extending past the base, but about 40 inches will be the entire thing. I've labeled all these, so we have the back of the seat. So this is going to be the back of the storage portion, because we're going to put a lid on top so we can store toys in the bottom. So this is going to be the back. You have the seat front. Then you have, for the Thomas the Train edition, the back portion where the child sits is going to be enclosed. So we have one side of the enclosure, the other side of the enclosure. We have the back, and then we have the actual seat that they're going to be sitting on. This next portion we're going to be doing is cutting the angles on our pieces. So as you can see here, I've already cut a 45-degree angles, and these are for the seat. So I'm going to be cutting the 45-degree angles for the seat and also for the cabin for the train. So for this, I'm using my Chicago sliding miter saw. So as I'm doing this, I have a clamp that's available, so I just clamp it down, and then I take my blade and I set it to where it's just barely hitting the corner. I already have it on the 45-degree angle, and then I just slice it up. So that's all there is to this portion. After I get all the angles cut, then I'll start assembling the box. After the box is assembled, then we'll start putting everything together, the box onto the frame, and get all the cabin done up, start doing some sanding for the fine edges, and then we'll start assembling all of it together onto the base. After it's on the base, then we'll start painting. DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself.